Welcome back to Susanne Kurz Coaching. I really started to do research into these topics and to think about that and to read about that more than 25 years back back in school, actually, before I wasn't even 20. And that's mainly because I felt miserable with the idea that we vanish into nothingness and there's just nothing after life, after death. And obviously, when you don't exist anymore, you are nothing, you won't feel anything and you won't think anything. And some people find that consoling and think they don't have to worry about that. But for me, the idea that that's what's going to happen was really, really scary and really uncomfortable and really made me miserable. And so I started to do research. The thing I'm doing, I'm a researcher. I will be for the rest of my life. And I stumbled over NDEs, near-death experiences. And that's basically what people report who have been dead or for a short amount of time, or not really dead, but almost dead, who have been revived. Obviously, they have been revived, so they have come back to life, so they weren't really completely, definitely dead. And that's also why, of course, it's not a thing you can use for ultimate proof of anything. One of the reasons for that, because people could always say, yeah, well, but that's not death. Death is when you don't come back. So then that's it. But some of them have really remarkable experiences outside of their bodies, or that's how it feels to them. And I'll go into that a lot deeper at a later point. But that's fascinating stuff, what they report about these experiences. And obviously scientists have come up with a couple of explanations for this and that, and I'll deal with that in a later video too. But first I was fascinated and wanted to read about that, and I ordered a book. The very first book that I ordered was this book by David Lorimer. And that's the German version of it. The original English version was from 1990. And the original title reads Hole in One, Near-Death Experience and the Ethic of Interconnectedness. So he is dealing mainly with the life revision, which happens after death. But before death, you can see your life like a film, flashing by your inner eye, often like a film without emotions and very quickly. And then after death, people have also reported of a life revision, which goes much deeper because they visited every moment in their lives like a scene, and they didn't only feel their own emotions in those moments, but also the emotions of people they were interacting with, which obviously has a huge learning effect and consequences for how then they will go on to deal with other people and treat other people in their lives. And that's what he's talking about here, about the ethical consequences of something like that if we were to take this seriously, these experiences, and how that relates to what the world religions have to say on it, and ethics of world religions. So I didn't get very far into this book. Meanwhile, I've read it all, but I stopped somewhere in the book because that was already in my early 20s. I took some time to read in that because I found it emotionally very exhausting. And at that point, I had started my studies at university. I had started a new life, and I felt that I couldn't enjoy life if I continued to look into death. And so I had to put this book down, and I felt like I had to focus on my life for a while. It came back then, some years later. One of the reasons was that I felt that way was that I didn't come to a satisfying conclusion at that point. I still had those heavy doubts because of what scientists say about near-death experiences. And couldn't use this as a consolation that would make me relaxed and confident and really help me. So I had to put it down, but it came back later. That's for another video. Everyone has their own timing in these sorts of matters, and go with what flows right for you. But if you are concerned by these matters and interested in them, and you decide to put it down, be prepared that it comes back at some point in your life, because as long as we don't have found our position to these metaphysical things, essential things, questions of life and death, and how we deal with death and how we feel about it, as long as that is not settled, it will come and revisit us until we have done that work. See you soon.